Hello and welcome to my look at the cKc slip joint. cKc knives are made in New Zealand by a gentleman called Kyle Harris. I'm sure most of you who are in the knife community and YouTube are familiar with him, but in case you're not, there'll be a link to his channel down below and also to the Gear Bastion site which he runs, and where you can buy his knives along with knives from a lot of other makers around the world. This particular knife was quite a long-term project for Kyle. There's a lot of thought and engineering and design went into this one. And I had a little bit of involvement in that. I suppose maybe in some ways I'm sort of nagging him to make something that was legal to import into Australia. It might have had a little to do with it, so or perhaps he was thinking of doing a slip joint anyway, but either way he's turned up with a heck of a product. It is a slip joint as mentioned, so it of course isn't a locking knife, but it doesn't look much like your traditional slip joint. In fact, it looks very much like a modern folder, which in its way it is. I'm not going to go into the details of the mechanism because it's hidden away, and Kyle is probably trying to keep it still a little bit secret, I guess, but it's a good looking knife, very functional. We'll talk about the dimensions, I suppose, first. We'll go over that. The blade on this one, which is made of 01 steel, so it's a carbon steel, so it needs a little bit of maintenance and tender loving care. It is, I should mention, hardness, Kyle tells me, is around about 60 to 62 on a Rockwell scale. Anyway, yeah, 012 steel, as you can see there, lovely braid shape. I consider that to be a drop point, 3 inches in length or 77 millimeters. The other version that's getting around that Kyle has done quite a few of is the tip just here is kind of truncated off. It's I can't remember what he calls it, but it's kind of a stronger little tip that he puts on them. I sort of prefer this for finer jobs, like digging out splinters in your hand or whatever. But yeah, both very good. Same sort of cutting edge, etc. Like most of Kylie's knives, it is of course a convex grind, which is excellent. Nice slim convex, works very, very well, and as you'd expect, came nicely sharp. The overall length of the knife, as it's open there, is 7 1/4 inches or 185 millimeters. Close the knife down, comes down to 4 1/4 inches or 117 millimeters. Now those dimensions will give you some idea of one of the good things about this knife is that it's got a very large handle on it for its knife size, about 4 inches of handle. I know Kylie's got large hands, larger than mine I think, and I find that really good with this particular knife, that you get a nice good purchase on it, easy 4-finger grip, and still a little bit of movement on that handle. You don't get locked into one position. It's really very nice. Speaking of the handle, it's natural micarta, so you know, it's not one of those fancy materials, but it does the job. It's going to be durable, and it's got a pretty reasonable sort of finish on it. This one, as you can see, has got stainless steel liners. Some of the slip joints that Kylie's put out recently haven't had liners, and they've had G10 and other things. They're quite slim in profile. This one's not. It's a reasonably wide profile. I didn't actually measure that up, but we could do to just see how wide this one is. It's around about 15 millimeters wide at the handle. So it's a fairly bulky knife, but I actually quite like that. It just fills the hand really nicely, and he has slimmed down the micarta scales to compensate for that a little bit. The other reason I prefer this knife, I suppose, over the later ones, it has got the steel liners. I think that just makes it a lot stronger. Not that you should be going crazy and batting this through logs or anything, but I think for longer term it's just going to be a nice, strong knife. It'll last me. So, alright, what else did I say about it? Weight on it, yeah, it is a little bit heavy again. Almost certainly, of course, those steel liners, they're quite hefty. 4.2 ounces or 120 grams. The deployment on this one, as mentioned, being a slip joint and being as it was designed specifically to be legal to import into places like Australia with our crazy rules against one-hand opening knives now, our import regulations, so it's strictly a two-hand opener. I'm sure that there's some magician out there in YouTube land can figure out how to open this one-handed, but basically the design, and with this slot all the way through down here, is that it's a two-hand opener. Speaking of the slot, I really like that, better than a nail nick or anything. I think that's a great idea. It gives you a nice area to get a bit of purchase on, and of course it makes the thing ambidextrous. So as you've seen, I've been opening it with my right hand because I'm left-handed. Works equally well both ways. Lots of blade to grip on there to open that up, and I think that's a really excellent design feature. So well done on that. Okay, the lockup, we'll talk about that. As you can hear there, it clicks home with a nice click. Now of course, slip joint, it's not going to lock, but you can see there snapping back rather nicely. Now one of the good things about this is Kylie's built in a half stop. I'm going to call it a half stop even though it's not halfway, because that's generally considered the usual term. Now I wouldn't do this with too many knives of this type, but I'm going to put my hand there in the normal cutting position. I'm just going to bump that knife down, and there you have it. That's where it stops. So I think that's an excellent safety feature. Now I haven't nicked myself or anything there, reasonably close, but it's done its job. And as you can see there, again, it's quite solid. So it takes a bit of an effort when you're closing the knife. You'll notice that there, and then you've got to overcome it. In-handle retention is excellent. The blade tip, as you can probably see there, is a fair way down, so there's no risk of that hooking or anything when it comes out of your pocket. And I think you got the spring pretty much spot on. Very, very impressed with the way this thing works. It's nice and firm. It is adjustable with these torque screws. And Kylie does mention that they may need adjustment from time to time and to use a bit of Loctite on them. It's a critical part of the whole mechanism. But the operation of it is really nice. I like it a lot. As you've probably noticed, no pocket clip. This is strictly a pocket knife, pocket carry, and which I suppose brings us to purpose of use for something on this. Certainly it's a great EDC, something I consider a little bit sort of heavy and to carry in the pocket, but it's an excellent EDC knife, certainly for an outdoors folder, possibly for a bushcraft backup. Being a convex blade, it's very good on wood cutting, that type of thing. As mentioned, also this is a legal import into Australia, so for my Australian viewers, you can get your hands on this because it's not a one-hand opener. It's also, I believe, designed to suit the UK market where, and my UK viewers I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, they are allowed to carry up to a 3-inch blade provided it's non-locking. So my understanding is this should be a legal carry knife in the UK. So for you guys after one of these, you could do a whole lot worse. I'm trying to think what else to say about it. Well, basically I'm impressed. I like the operation, I like the feel of it. The handle is great, there's no hot spots, nicely contoured. Kylie's actually rounded the spine a bit there, which I think is a nice touch. It slims down really nicely to the point. I'm sure you notice there's still some grind marks in there. Anyone who knows Kylie's work knows he's not too fussed about putting extremely great finishes on them. He's building tools. I don't mind that actually. I think that's a good thing because basically it's not coming to you in this pristine, high gloss, shiny, mirror polished condition that you don't want to mark it up. So this is a knife for using, and that's exactly what I've been doing with it. And I've been loving it. It does everything. I've cut wood, just normal EDC tasks, bits of rope. It's a great little tool. You do of course have to be aware that it's not a locker, so there's a little bit of cautionary code. If you're using it just for normal cutting and slicing, honestly it's not a problem at all. Now, we might just do a quick size comparison with this one. I'll bring in a Benchmade mini griptilian. These free folders I'm going to show you, they've all got basically the same blade length, about a 3-inch blade length. We'll just zoom that in. Now, one of the things you'll notice on the griptilian is the handle is a little bit smaller than on the cKc knife. It just gives you an idea of how much real estate you get to put your hand on the cKc. There's another Benchmade here which is very, very equivalent to this one. It's a 527. I know probably not a lot of people have got this particular Benchmade, but it's almost identical in dimensions. You can see the handle's quite a bit longer on that one for the same blade length, so that's not a bad option. The only thing I don't like about the 527 is it's a hollow ground, which is certainly not one of my favourites, but again, not a bad knife. And a very popular one, just the last one to show you size comparison, is a Delica 4 full-flag ground, and again, as well known for the Delica's nice handle size, and it almost matches as well. So there we go. Just show you the only stamping you get on this one, you'll just see on that side of the blade there is the cKc logo. So beware of imitations, but there's nothing else on it. There's no numbers or anything on this one, although oddly enough, this one is, to the best of my knowledge, the first one that was sold from the first batch. So to me it's a little bit of a special one. So I was very lucky to get my hands on that. That's about all I've got to say, guys. If you're in the market for a modern take on a slip joint, not only just in the style but also in the mechanism, in the whole way it's been designed, and you want a high performance cutter, these are well worth a look if Kylie does another batch. I think at the moment he has probably sold all of the first batch, but if he does them again, and I sincerely hope he does, I think this is a really top design. It's something he could sell easily more of, certainly both to here and into the UK. If you want a high performance cutter, you're not looking for the perhaps the ultimate in looks and boasting rights and that type of stuff, this could be the folding knife for you. I think it's a real winner, and Kylie, well done on it. Excellent work, really enjoying this one. Thanks very much for watching everyone, bye for now.